We're talking about dreams today, and dream interpreter Cynthia Richmond is here to help, and we've got Dr. Deidre Barrett is here as well, and we're kind of trying to figure out what these dreams mean, how it all comes together. Now, Rosie and Jennifer have some recurring dreams, so you guys come up, okay?
Hi,
all right.
I'm Jennifer.
How you doing?
Good.
Rosie, how are you? Tell me your dream.
I've been dreaming for over 20 years that I am in a plane and I'm seatbelted in, and all of a sudden I feel the plane start to lurch and spin, and it's literally slow motion, but then all of a sudden the plane will break in half right in front of me. And I feel every turn and twist. I can remember the sounds, I can remember the feelings as I'm going to the ground, but the key is when we land, I'm the only one that's still alive. And I rush around trying to wake everyone up and revive them, and it's terrorizing, and it's been happening for over 20 years.
And it's pretty much the same every time?
Sometimes, no. Sometimes it's a car, and I'm going over a cliff. Sometimes it's a roller coaster or a Ferris wheel, but usually it's a plane.
Does it always involve falling?
Yes.
Is everybody always dead
Yes.
but you?
Every time.
And how do you feel when you're alive and everybody else is dead?
I am powerless, and I'm incapable of waking them up, and reviving them, and I literally become hysterical, and I'm trying to move them, and I'm trying to make them stand, and I'm trying to get them to come back to life, and I literally become hysterical. It's the best way I can put it. I wake up crying, I wake up shaking, and the weird thing is I love to fly, and I fly for a living all the time, so I'm not afraid of that.
Have you lost people close to you in your life?
I lost my dad 4 years ago.
And how did he pass?
He actually had cancer, and it was sudden, very sudden, 6 days. So
Did you have an opportunity to talk with him before you lost him?
I did. I actually did.
And did you get to say what you wanted to say?
Yeah,
Were you with
I
him when
did.
he passed?
Yeah, I did. And I was actually the executor of the family at that point, you know, with the doctors sort of in between. So yeah, it was actually, if you're going to go, it was a beautiful way to go, surrounded by family. So yeah.
What do you guys have to say?
Well, what I'm struck by is the car crash and plane crash dreams are so common, but your specific variation is you're not concerned about yourself in what I hear. It's the other people. You have to save other people.
Yeah.
And you just said as your dad was dying that you were sort of the executor for the family. So I wonder if you have a lot of waking life situations where either you really have to or you feel like you have to be taking all responsibility for lots of other people.
Yeah, I think there's something there. I have been the achiever in the family my whole life, known as being the achiever, and I think there's something there in making sure that I do it right, I'm in control, I'm hitting the goals. I think there might be something there, so I'm controlling, maybe.
I mean, it sounds like the falling comes from your real experience, but that quality of being concerned about everybody else, I mean, it must be very gratifying to be the achiever and caretaker in the family, but it sounds like there's something that's kind of overwhelming.
I was taking on a new job, actually. I was taking on a huge responsibility, and which would ultimately lead to where I am today in my career. So that might have been something there, that I was stepping into a role that I probably wasn't as prepared for as the hiring manager thought. But I was stepping into that as an adult, and I was still a college student, you know.
Well, if you had that sense inside that you might not be as qualified, that's a great deal of pressure to put on yourself at 19. I would work with you on the idea of the various vehicles too, because there's something significant about that. But it's not a quick answer necessarily.
Right.
But I'm wondering, you know, what would happen, because I know a real motivator, a real fuel in a lot of dream scenarios is anxiety. Where you feel overwhelmed in some way. And so we sometimes feel paralysis, we sometimes feel helplessness, and anxiety can be a big factor. And you know, you got into a job where you said you were kind of over your head from the beginning. You know, sometimes we can go through our whole life feeling like we're one step ahead of being found out. I'm not really as competent as everybody thinks I am. I'm not as smart as everybody thinks I am.
Right.
I'm not as good as everybody thinks I am. And I'm just one step ahead of being found out.
Right.
And if you feel like that sometimes in a dream, you could very well feel like you're falling from where you shouldn't be.
I think I have this need to always sort of do it right and fix it. And when things fall apart, I'm the one that comes in and saves the day, and I've always been that person. And I think there might be something there, too, that I can't save the day.
Okay. Here's a tough question, a meaningful question. Can our dreams be premonitions? Next, we're going to see if yours predict the future. We'll be right back.